This is your life, and 30 or so floors below me, the studios of London's Capitol Gold. In a moment, I shall be going down there and pointing my microphone in the direction of the DJ we've just been listening to, broadcasting live. He's been around the pop scene for 30 years now, man and beast. Indeed, his was the very first voice to be heard on Radio 1 all those years ago.
But listen, I've got a little something else.
His morning show runs from 6:30 till 10 when he hands over to David Hamilton. In fact, you can hear them chatting happily together right now.
Your wedding later this year. Yes. Well, today I've got a little surprise for you. Well, I got one of the two people who's... Oh,
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. It's King Rat, Michael Ashwell. And I have come to invite you to a champagne breakfast at our Teddington studios. Let me say first of all...
This isn't happening, is it?
Not quite, not yet, but I'm here to say, this is your life, Tony Blackburn.
Oh, dear.
A round of applause from David for that, please. Thank you.
About time. Well, what can I say, Michael? Well, I'm absolutely speechless. About time for that as well, isn't it? Have I got time to finish this programme?
I don't know about that. So, I know you would do a lovely fried egg here, but David's had that, so I'm going to take you away to have one on us. All right.
Well, wonderful, yes, I look forward to it.
But tidy up if you want.
I hope he's not coming, though.
Can we throw him out now?
Yes, come with me. Just leave the whole thing.
All right.
Listeners, you're spared.
To do, Michael, is
Okay.
to kick him out, right, and take over his programme.
That there.
Have you?
And this is permanent, by the way.
This is permanent, is it?
Yes. Oh, well, goodbye, everybody.
This is what's known as
The Big E. It's a subtle way of saying goodbye forever.
He's been wanting to do that for ages, haven't you?
You always want to do this breakfast show. Lined up. You've got any
Yes, I
records
have,
in
yeah.
there?
There's one there.
If I press this, what do I get? Egg and bacon?
Something like
Okay,
that.
let's give it a go.
Good lord.
Well, not only a capital welcome, Tony, it's going to be a family breakfast as well, with your mother, Pauline, and sister Jackie, and your little boy, now 18 years old, Simon. As David Hamilton has mentioned from time to time, he is going to be best man at your wedding in June, so let's pull up a chair for your fiancée, Debbie Thompson.
Oh, yeah?
Debbie, it's not what you'd call a whirlwind romance, is it?
No, hardly. We first met 16 years ago when Tony was doing buttons and I was dancing in the chorus of the panto. And then we met up again last year, quite by chance. Tony came to see a show I was in. And the rest is history, really.
Well, Tony Blackburn, this is your life. And you were born in Guildford on January the 29th, 1943. Your mother, Pauline, was a nurse, and the family moved to Ferring in Sussex when your father, Kenneth, became a ship surgeon in the Merchant Navy. And there you are, testing the water. Everybody always laughs at baby pictures, but in this case, I understand.
Why.
In 1945, your father sets up in practice in Poole in Dorset. There's the family with your younger sister, Jackie, when you started at Millfield Public School. That's you in the Junior Colts 15 in 1958. But music was your passion. You learned guitar, you wrote songs, and left Millfield aiming to be a pop star. In 1960, by sheer chance, the real thing comes into your life.
I was out shopping with my wife and stopped for a chat with a teenage fan in a wheelchair.
With his wife, Joyce, it's Marty Wilde. And Marty, of course, that young lady was Jackie.
Yes, it was. And I was doing a summer season at the time at the Bournemouth Pavilion. And I didn't know it, but it was the house I'd rented was very, very close to Tony's parents. And Jackie asked me if she said, I have a brother who's very talented. And could he come round and sing? Could he come round and sing and do an audition? I said, well, if he comes round, I'll listen to him. And I listened to him, and I thought he was pretty good. And I gave him every encouragement.
And Joyce, in a way, the Blackburn family returned the compliment.
Yes, that's right. Tony's father was actually my doctor. I was pregnant at the time, and he cared for me, and later I had this little girl.
That's right, Kim.
Yes, and now you play her hit records. It is indeed Kim Wilde. Thank you very much, the Wilde family. Now, Tony, you start your own group, don't you? And it was called what?
Well, it was actually called Tony Blackburn and the Swinging Bells. But we did actually change the name. Yeah.
Why was that?
I got no idea. I think some of the posters got altered a little bit.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of the best names.
Billy Blackburn and his Swinging Bells, yes. Well, you settled for a more steady job when at the age of 18 you become resident singer and guitarist with the dance band of the late Jan Ralphini at the Bournemouth Pavilion. There's the 21-year-old Blackburn, former dancer to Tony Bennett. Yes.
Oh.
An advertisement in the New Musical Express recruiting young disc jockeys for the pirate radio ship Radio Caroline changes the course of your career. At 21, you become the youngest DJ on radio. There you are, enjoying life on the ocean wave band. The ship, Mi Amigo, is anchored just off limits near Frinton, off the Essex coast. One January night in 1966, it's hit by the full force of a North Sea gale and swept through the gap between two huge breakwaters jutting out to sea.
A few yards either way, and the pirates would have been in Davy Jones' locker.
Known as Mr. TV on radio, Tommy Vance. So Tony's luck was in.
Well, he thought it was in. I mean, he thought his luck was getting better all the time, basically, because he'd just nearly been drowned and got away with that. But things did get a bit bad because the Mi Amigo was a complete sort of write-off at the time. Then we got another vehicle called Cheetah 2.
Cheetah 2, that's right.
Which was it was a Swedish vessel.
Yeah.
And on board there was nothing. I mean, there was no water, there was next to nothing to eat. So he thought it was a good idea that I should go to London to complain, right? So he was the boss at the time, so I had to go and do the dirty work. And while I was in London, he made the transfer to work probably by just kicking it, and he was actually on the air for 8 solid hours.
I fell asleep twice during that as well.
Yes, and you woke up and made a slightly indiscreet remark.
Yes, I did, actually. What was it? I said it was radio bullshit. That's right, yeah, and we got 50 fan letters to it as well.
He wanted to rename the station.
Well, at least you lived to tell the tale. Tommy, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, understandably, you decided your original choice of a singing career was a bit less dangerous, and in 1965 you throw down the gauntlet of the Beatles and the Stones with these two numbers.
Say on, you know she's gone, so don't get off that train. Say on, and soon the pain will stop. Is there a word of love left unspoken? For a vow I've made that I've broken. Please teach me how to be the kind of boy you love.
I think, in retrospect, I think those songs were ahead of their time.
Well, there was always Holland, wasn't there? I mean, you were
Yes,
popular there. You had a bit of a hit there.
Yes, yeah.
Which one was that?
Oh, dear. There
I
have been so
tell you?
many. They probably Only Love or something, or one of those.
I'll
Or
just
Chop, 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 it might have been.
I don't think it was that. It was Don't Get Off the Train.
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah, do you like Bing Crosby? You've made so many.
So many, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So many hits, Michael.
yes. The government pulled the plugs on the pirates in 1967, but you'd already made it on dry land at the BBC. On September the 30th that year, Radio 1 hits the air for the first time, and yours is the first voice to be heard.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the exciting new sound of Radio 1.
At Broadcasting House, you discover the Radio 2 DJ who follows your morning show as a boyhood hero of yours. At Millfield, you were a great fan of his Radio Luxembourg show because you loved his jokes.
And Tony, you've got quite a sense of humor yourself, despite your jokes.
Pete Murray.
Oh, yes.
absolute hero.
Oh, well. Did you want me to tell you anything at all?
Well, I'd like to say, I believe he got his comeuppance.
He certainly did get his comeuppance because he's always going on with jokes, and I can remember on this particular occasion, I was driving in and I was listening to his program, which doesn't say a lot for me, and he said, as I said to Petula Clark in the bath this morning, so I thought as soon as I got into the studio, I got onto the intercom and I phoned through to his studio and I said, I wish to speak to Tony Blackburn, please. This is Claude Wolfe, who is the husband of Petula Clark. He has said the most disgusting thing about my wife, being in the bath with her, and I want a public apologize. He comes on and says, look, I'm terribly sorry, Claude, I can't do anything about it. I'm most terribly sorry, I can't do anything about it. I said, I want a public apology, otherwise I take this to authority, to a solicitor or something like that. I can't do anything. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles? No, Paul, I'm terribly sorry. I can't do anything about it. So then he actually puts his producer on, who's Derek Chinnery, and Derek Chinnery said, no, this is disgusting, Claude, I mean, come on, where's your sense of humour? Ah, I said, this is it, huh? Racism. You are saying the French have no sense of humour. I'm doing all this about hello, haven't I? Yeah. Anyway, when I went on the air that morning, which followed his show, I then said, my guest today is Sammy Davis Jr., but not Petula Clark, because she's in the bath with Tony Blackburn.
Thank you, Freak Murray. And you haven't got the part, but thanks for coming. Now, you continue making singles as well as spinning them. In 1968, you get into the charts at number 31 with So Much Love. That was the title.
I've got so much love I want to give you. Baby, I've got so much love I want to give you. Girl, there's more than enough to last the whole night through.
And the following year, this one reaches 42 in the charts, It's Only Love.
Trying to get through, it's only love. Trying to get through, it's only love. Trying to get through.
Also in 1969, you become co-presenter of television's Top of the Pops.
Welcome to Top of the Pops. You had a nice Christmas?
Fantastic, thank you.
What present have you had?
I had a big cuddly elephant.
What, a real life-size one?
Oh yeah, I must have.
Well, you'll be able to make trunk calls and nothing else. Good one? Oh, a good one, wasn't it? This is Richard from our sound department. Evening, Richard. Evening. It's rave-up time once again. Hi, everybody. Well, I hope you're having a happy Christmas, which is more than we are having at the moment. Scrooge here didn't send all the invitations out, did you?
I did.
Oh, no, you did. Well, why is it nobody's turned up, then, to our party?
Because they don't want to come.
Oh, that's what it is it? Well, we shall see. We shall see. The only thing we've got so far is this Christmas card from the number one group, Mud.
Well, Scrooge was just about to set sail on the Canberra when we caught up with him.
Tony, congratulations. You've made it to the big one. This is your life. We're all watching because we want to know all the things that you never tell us. Things like where you keep your money. Is it safe? Can we have some of it? Where you keep all those phone numbers. Can we borrow some of those? Ooh, we are very pleased to be on This Is Your Life, and we're watching it very closely.
Thank you, Jimmy Savile. Thank you. The following year, you're voted top DJ on Radio 1, pictured here with the award winner for Radio 2. Don't know what ever happened to him. No. 1971 sees you voted Radio Personality of the Year by the Variety Club of Great Britain. You marry actress Tessa Wyatt in 1972, but break up 4 years later. You're back on television in 1976, presenting Seaside Special with David Hamilton.
Tony, we've pedalled a long, long way.
Oh, you're right on exhaustion. In fact, I'm pedal load off, I can tell you.
Yes, we've come all the way from France, but look, land, where are we?
What? Where are we?
Here's a residence. Where are we?
Torbay!
We've landed in Torbay. Torbay? Then we must be in time for Seaside Special!
David, that was the start of a great double act, wasn't it?
Well, it's funny you should say that, Michael. It was actually the only double act with two straight men. But in those days, we were known as Pinky and Perky.
We still are.
Well, we're still doing the same gags anyway.
Exactly the same,
Lovely, then. Well, as we heard, you first met your fiancée, Debbie, in Panto when you played Buttons. Do you remember this Cinderella?
Remember? Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree.
The girl from television's The Golden Shot, Anne Aston. I know that face anywhere, Anne. No, in the Panto, that was Tony's song, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was. In fact, I remember this one night I was standing on the side of the stage waiting to go on, and Tony was singing Tie a Yellow Ribbon, and all of a sudden the scenery just started, as if in slow motion, to go on top of him. And he carried on as if absolutely nothing
like
had...
that, I think, wasn't it?
It carried on just as if nothing had happened. It was so funny. Anyway, what we could have done with really was Bernie to bolt it back together again.
Ah, well said. Thank you, Anne Aston.
Thank you, Anne.
Well, you switched to weekend broadcasting in 1979 with your own 3-hour Saturday morning show and top 40 show on Sunday afternoons. Next, it's Junior Choice on Radio 1.
And Tony, you laid yourself wide open for some choice practical jokes.
Yeah. Remember the briefcase?
Oh. Co-presenters with you, Keith Chegwin and Maggie Philbin.
Oh, God.
Back. You need to know your age now. Sorry. I've been dying to find out that for years.
Well, Keith, the briefcase.
Oh, the briefcase. Well, we were always playing jokes on Tony like you wouldn't believe. We always fell for them. We got a bit sick and tired of doing it after a while. But once he bought one of these very expensive briefcases with a combination lock on it, you see, and he was bragging around Radio 1 saying, look, I've got this and I've got that. So basically what happened, I'd seen the combination beforehand, you see. And I said, oh, anybody could break into one of those. He went, well, go on then, you try. So I put it up to me and pretended to listen to it clicking away, you see, and opened the briefcase, didn't I?
Yeah, and at first sort of Tony pretended not to be sort of too disappointed about, you know, the fact that he'd thrown sort of 50 or 60 quid away. But as we came out of Radio 1 that day, we saw him walking down Oxford Street.
With this briefcase to his ear, listening to the telltale.
The worst one he played on me, though, was definitely at a roadshow once, where you introduced me on stage. And he went on before me, and he told the audience when they introduced me not to do anything. And they came on stage and introduced me, and there was absolutely no response at all. I was grabbing people's autograph books, asking if I could sign an autograph. I've never forgotten that.
And you mean that was a new experience?
A new experience. Oh,
you
dreadful,
tried to grab the autograph book, and
that's right.
pulling it back.
Yeah. What happened when he told you he was going to Northern Ireland?
Oh, yes. Well, I said, was he aware of the, you know, the tightening up of all the sort of security procedures, and that he'd have to take his passport, his driving licence, and his birth certificate? And he looked at me, sort of flushed slightly, and he said, well, you know, the passport and the driving licence, that's not a problem, but I'm a bit worried about the birth certificate.
Well, it's all over now. Thank you, Maggie and Keith. In 1987, after 20 years, you leave the BBC and join Capital Radio. You're back on television as one of the first personalities joining the satellite service in a daily show, Sky by Day. And here tonight, your colleagues Jenny Hanley and Patrick Anthony. Hello, Patrick, I believe that you're very good at the corny jokes department as well.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he's terrific. Yeah.
Thank you very much. But the whole nation knows that Tony is a man with a lot of funny lines. You can see them from here.
Thank you, Patrick.
Not at all. There's more. But having worked several hundred shows with Tony, I came to realise that he's a man with many hidden talents. And Tony, don't worry, because one day someone will find them.
Boom!
Your turn, Jenny.
Well, we actually had to share a dressing room for about a year. And he was always... Well, you were always boasting that you had the biggest. This was even in front of Patrick.
Correct.
Took most of that time to find out you were only talking about your satellite dish.
Thank you. Don't ring us. Jenny Hanley and Patrick Anthony. But the night of January the 19th, 1966 was certainly no joke. That was when the Mayday signal went out from Radio Caroline. And the lifeboat crew that came to your rescue 26 years ago are here tonight to toast your help. Tony Blackburn, this is your life.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.